Hey y'all, it's decluttering time.
What is up, you guys? It's me, your girl, your Casey. How you doing? Today is the day we have like a final countdown, a like Survivor TV show, eliminations, tryouts, because it's time for both a bookshelf tour and an unhaul. I gotta get rid of some stuff, like I'm running out of space. I'm gonna go through each and every shelf on here, each and every book, unless they're like a giant series and I don't really need to go through each and every book. Looking at you, Left Behind series, just taking up all of my orange and reddish shelf. I need to make 3 piles for this unhaul. I need to make a pile for books I'm going to keep and actually keep on my shelves, books I'm going to absolutely get rid of and donate, or books that I just need to put in the storage for a little bit. Those books I don't feel like I'm going to reread anytime soon but still want to have. So I hope you guys are ready to like get up close and personal with each and every face on this shelf, because I have some books right here that I just like bought, so they're not going anywhere soon. Like, I'm keeping these. I was like on the hunt for some like good fantasy books, so I found one called Soul Keeper. Have you heard of this? Because I've never heard of this book before, but I found it at Barnes & Noble's and I'm like, hello stranger, tall, dark, and handsome, and you have a sword? Yes, please. And also I have Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. Both of these sound like really high fantasy books. This one is like, oh, the world is nice, you know, la 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 la, but then all these monsters like suddenly come out of nowhere and they just like start making a ruckus. And it's causing the whole world to go topsy-turvy. People are dying. People are like transforming gruesomely, stuff like that. These weird creatures, they can be corpses that can walk. They can like just manipulate time itself. And it's up to our guy Devin here to put the world back in order. Hopefully with that big sword he's carrying. So on a mission to like protect the human race in this book. But then, I feel like I've never heard of this, but I've also heard of it everywhere. It's like I just can't remember where I've heard of it from. Probably Booktube, I don't know. But this takes place in the 1800s. We have Mr. Norrell, sorry dude. Mr. Norrell has magical powers, and because of that he becomes an overnight celebrity. You know, he's an older guy, he's kind of a veteran in the field, but then this guy named Jonathan, he shows up and he's like, I want to be the best. And he's like a brilliant young man, but he's a total novice in everything that he does. So it sounds like these two have a sort of like master-apprentice relationship going on, and it's a thick boy and like really tiny writing too. I'm excited, and like I have no idea what Truly Devious is about, but I love the cover. It's so cute, and I think it's like a boarding school novel where some truly devious shenanigans happen. Some kidnapping takes place at this boarding school, and the kidnapper notes are just signed as truly, devious. So I think we're gonna go on a hunt for some missing people. So these are like my latest purchases, and I am going to keep these. It's going to be hard like deciphering what books I want to keep on my shelf and what books I want to go in the storage, because I never know when the sudden urge to reread something will just hit me on the side of the head like a brick. But here's an easy one. I love Riley Sager. My favorite thriller author ever. This is probably my second favorite book from Riley Sager, my first one being Home Before Dark. Super love this. It's about this girl who agrees to apartment sit in this really like prestigious old apartment in New York City, and it's creepy. Some creepy shenanigans are going on, like I get it for, but I'm not going to read it anytime soon, so I'm going to put this in the storage category. So far we have 3 for keep on the shelves and 1 for storage. Next up we have Scarlet. One of the first series I read when I started Booktube was actually the Lunar Chronicles, and I loved the series. But for some reason I only own Scarlet because it was my favorite book. Wolf and Scarlet, they're my favorite couple in that whole series. And I honestly think it's a really inventive series. If you love retellings on like a bunch of the Disney princesses, you should definitely go read it. It has a real sci-fi twist that I really liked with it, but I'm not going to read it anytime soon, so it's just going to go into storage. Next up, we have The Astonishing Color of After. So basically, any of these books that are turned like backwards, I'm going to keep on my shelf because I haven't read them yet. But this is a book dedicated to dealing with grief. A girl's mama died from suicide, and our little girl is like convinced that her mama's spirit is now like still on Earth and has been transformed into a bird, and our girl is following the bird around, and I think it takes her to Taiwan. She like gets to reconnect with other members of her family too, and I think that's a good one. It's a contemporary, and I tend to like my contemporaries not to be so cute. I want them like really dark and sad, because I need to be dark and sad at all times, I guess. So I'm gonna keep this on the keep pile. Artemis Fowl, one of my favorite childhood book series growing up. all the Artemis Fowl books on wherever they are on these shelves. They're going to go to storage. I'm keeping them. It's the best. It's like a young, evil criminal mastermind. He wants to steal gold from the fairies. Because, you know, he's Irish, so he's heard all those tales about, you know, the pot of gold under the rainbow. And he, like, finds out the fairies are real. So he's like, oh, the gold must be real, too. Like, I mean, I'm already rich, but more gold won't hurt. So now he goes on this crazy, like, kidnapping plot to kidnap the fairy so he can get that gold as a ransom. This isn't the first book. I think this is, like, the fifth? Yep, it is. And I really like this one. I think it's actually my second favorite, besides the first book. So I'm keeping this, all the Artemis Fowl books, just going into storage for a little bit. However, I am still super salty about that movie. Oh my gosh, Disney, just stop, please. Just go away forever. Ooh, okay, Behind Closed Doors. One of my favorite thrillers. I loved the bad guy in this. He was just so cuckoo. And like, it's a big thing if I feel like rereading a thriller, and this is one I've actually been like hoping to reread, so I'm going to keep this one on my shelf. I've read B.A. Paris's other books, The Breakdown, and there's another one, Let Me Go. It's on here. Bring Me Back. Bring Me Back, that's what it's called. I was okay with them. Actually, Bring Me Back I liked, but I was like, okay. The Breakdown, I actually DNF'd because I guessed the twist pretty early. But this one was fantastic. I loved it. It was like, when I read thrillers, I want to feel like I'm trapped, claustrophobic, like I'm the main character and I'm trying to figure out how to get out of this situation. With this one, I was feeling all of that. Keeping it. Another of my unread books, The Sentence is Death. I recently hauled this one. It's kind of like one of those like retellings. Not really a retelling, but it's like Sherlock and Watson. A male duo of detectives who has to solve this like super high profile case. But like the real, I guess like wow factor of this is that the author, Anthony Horowitz, has written himself into the book. So he's the Sherlock Holmes apprentice. He's basically Watson in this book. It has deckled edges. I'm not excited about that, but I am going to keep it because I have not read it yet. Gathering of Shadows. Honestly, anything with V.E. Schwab's name on these whole bookshelves that I have, I'm keeping them. And I'm like, gosh, I want to reread this series. But I have like reread guilt. Like I have all these unread books, so why would I have time to reread books I've already read? But I honestly cannot bear the thought of this book going into storage, so I'm keeping it on my shelf. It's the second book in the Darker Shade of Magic series, so go read that first book. It's actually right here. Oh, no, wait, that's not it. Well, it's V.E. Schwab. It's Vicious, which I also love. It's like two superhero best friends who are now enemies, and they're now out to kill each other. And they don't care who gets caught in the crossfires. They are on revenge mission. Love it. Probably my favorite V.E. Schwab book. Keeping it. Did you think I wouldn't? Oh my gosh. This is going to be like one of our first like donate, get rid of, unhaul. The Inheritance Trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. Not a fan. Oh my gosh. This isn't one book. This is like 4 books all together. The first book, our main girl character, like zero personality. She was basically a movable, verbally capable brick wall. Like, I didn't love her at all. This book, the first book even had like a dark, broody death god who was sexy. And that didn't excite me. That is literally my jam. It had like a twist villain in the end that I'm like, actually had 2. One of the twist villains was really good, and I liked that. The other one, no. The second book I actually really liked because we had like 2 whole new characters that were way better than the first ones. The third book, though, that was like a short story stretched out to 400 pages. It did not need to exist. I don't even know what it accomplished. Actually, I do, and I still don't understand what I read. It made no sense. So this is an unhaul. I like that second book, though. Can I just, like, rip it out of here? This is why I shouldn't buy, like, collections. Haruki Murakami, Kafka on the Shore. What do you think I'm gonna do with this book? Did you hear that thud? It was satisfying. I hate Kafka on the Shore. This is going far, far away. To an incinerator. We have the Scythe. This is so, like, predictable to me. Like, the whole system of the Scythe, how these people go out and kill people because humanity is now practically immortal. You know, if you don't die, the place gets overpopulated, and so it's up to the Scythe to keep the population down or manageable. That was interesting. But just the first book, it was just like, it meant like every story beat commonly found in YA. Like, oh, the girl meets the boy. Oh, they're in like a competition against each other. Oh, they start to fall in love. oh, someone throws a wrench into their relationship, stuff like that. It just didn't excite me. So this is going to be a Unhaul. We have The Knife of Never Letting Go. Apparently, there's going to be like a movie about it with Tom Holland. Intrigued. I've had this book series, the whole book series on my shelf for forever and have not read it yet, so I'm keeping it. I just have zero drive to read it. All I really know is that there's maybe this town or this community of people, or it could be the whole world. It's just that everybody can read each other's thoughts, I think. So, no secrets. Wicked Saints, another unread book. I've heard this is like a really cheap version of Six of Crows, but I still own it, and I'm still gonna read it. Look, it has blood splatters on the back. That means it has to be awesome. The Regime. This is like a prequel for this whole Left Behind series right here. Very interesting. It was about the Antichrist. Now, I don't want to say he was a good character, but he was my favorite character. Like, just a little spoiler, all these books are gonna go into the storage thing because I love them. I just don't want to reread them right now because I've already reread them. Like this Left Behind series, that's the main series. There's 12 books. There's 3 prequels and 1 epilogue, like a whole book is an epilogue. And there's even like a Left Behind Kids series that has like maybe 20 books and they're like the same size. Good golly, how do they write all that junk? I can't even write one. Okay, this has like been weighing on my brain forever. Do I want to try reading Fifth Wave again? I DNF'd the first book because I thought the plans by the aliens were so stupid. But I'm like, oh, but I've heard there's also some cool things in it. I might want to try reading it another day, but I really don't want to. I think it's just time for me to let this one go. Like, I loved the writing style of the first book because it was really sarcastic, and that is me in a nutshell. But I just couldn't get behind, like, the whole evil force we were up against. I'm like, you stupid. Like, you just need me to lead the aliens. I would have more brains than these superior beings capable of spaceflight. So I'm gonna unhaul this. We got Catching Fire, my favorite book in the Hunger Games trilogy. I'm keeping it, but it's going into storage. The Wrath and the Dawn, very mad about this series. It was written very pretty, and I really liked the girl, Sherazade, and also her love interest, the prince who was killing all his wives because of a thing. Spoiler thing, but he was killing all of his wives for a reason. And then Sherazade comes into the picture and volunteers to be the next wife in the hopes of killing the prince. But I was loving the romance, but there was also like a war going on in the background, and it was not like barely talked about except when it was convenient to the plot. So it was okay, just not the best. But I am gonna get rid of it. And look, Red Shelf is gone. Oh, I forgot. I have the entire collection of the Earthsea books. I have not even began to read this. I got it on sale for like $10. Thrifty. It was originally like $60. I have to read this. I'm going to. The matter is when. Do I want to keep it on my shelf or am I gonna put it in storage? I have like a phobia of storage. I'm afraid it's gonna get like dented and stuff by all the other stuff I'm gonna put on top of it. Look at the pretty cover. I can't risk this getting a boo-boo. But I also kind of don't want to read it right now. We're gonna put it in storage. I've decided. It took me like a minute, but I decided this is for the best. Alright, we have Eldest, who I am never gonna let out of my sight. It's my favorite book. It's staying with me. We also have Eragon. We also have Inheritance and Lassie Brissinger. I got the whole gang together. Oh no. Look, Brissinger's spine has been damaged. I am a bad mother. But yeah, these are my boys and they ain't going anywhere. I would die before I'd be separated by them. And even in death, they will be in my casket. Illuminate. I think it's... how do I feel about it? It's a really funny series. Like, I loved it. And it's really, like, unique in its formatting because it's, like, interview style and, like, declassified files and stuff. So, very imaginative. Very good storytelling. And it was one of the first sci-fi books I've ever read. And it was just fun to read. The last book, Obsidio, didn't do anything for me. Like, I don't think I'd ever read Obsidio again, but I would definitely reread Illuminae and Gemina again. But I'm gonna put them in storage for now. Rage of Dragons. You all know this book is very popular. I'm kind of mad about it. I had decided to keep like reading the series though, because I had a dream about this book and it was really awesome. So I took that as a sign. And I was just thinking maybe I should put it in storage, but I'm actually gonna keep it with me because I don't know when I'm gonna read Fires of Vengeance. And I might need a little refresher before I dive into Fires of Vengeance, which is the sequel. all these Left Behind books. These are going into storage. In case you haven't heard of it, it's basically like the Christian version of Game of Thrones. Like the rapture happens. And so Jesus takes all his homies up to heaven. And all his like non-homies are like, oh my gosh, the world is going to crap now. But now some people are like, hey, it's that rapture thing from the Bible. We believe in Jesus now. So now the new Jesus homies are up against the Antichrist, who's trying to take over the world through politics. It's very intense. A lot of my favorite characters die. Like, you don't know who's gonna die. The characters in these books, they're kind of flat, like interchangeable, but it's like the events that are the best part. Another Artemis Fowl book going into storage. Another prequel book for the Left Behind series. Ooh, this is like a nostalgia book for me, Eon. I think I've had this book since I was 15, probably. I've honestly reread this book so many times. I love it. It's the book that taught little me that people kiss with their tongues. Ew. Good memories, but I'm going to put it in storage for now. I don't think I'm going to read anything from the Grisha trilogy in a hot minute or hour or month, but I want to have the Darkling as close to me as possible, so I'm going to keep them on my shelf for now. Oh, the second book of the Chronicles of One. Nora Roberts, Year One, the book with the crow. It's up there. I'll show it to you. I DNF'd Year One. It wasn't my jam. The characters were flat. Again, not interesting. One annoyed the crap out of me. And I honestly just thought, because it's the apocalypse mixed in with like fairy magic, and that sounds awesome, but it just didn't vibe with me. Like, I couldn't get into it at all. So I'm going to unhaul this one in Year One when I find it. Another Artemis Fowl book, another Chaos Walking book, because I have the first book in my keep pile, the second book is going in with it. I also have Ready Player One. I'm not a fan of the 80s, like I know nothing about them, but I honestly love this book. And also Ready Player 2 came out. I have not read that yet, and I feel like if I'm going to read that, I need to get caught up on what happened in here again. So I'm going to keep it. 2 shelves down, now going to the green and yellow shelf. I'm just going to bring some things down here, make it really easy for me. Here's Year One that I just mentioned. Yeah, magical, fey magic, apocalypse. Sounds awesome, didn't fit well. I'm gonna unhaul it. I have this cute little plant. I'm not gonna unhaul it. He's gonna be my little mascot. My little partner in all this unhauling. He's gonna get me through it. Just a bunch of cute flowers. There. Okay, we have The Help. One of my favorite books. It's hilarious. I love it. I love the movie. But I just like feel in my soul I'm not gonna reread this really soon, so I'm gonna put it in storage for now. King of Scars makes me so mad. I hated all of it except for Nikolai, because this is about Nikolai the Prince, and even he wasn't that hot in this book. He wasn't doing good. The only thing that's keeping me from getting rid of this is the last like 30 pages and the fact that this is book 1 of a duology and I need to know what happens. I need it. So this is just gonna go in storage. Ugh, Allegiant. I have the entire Divergent series. I don't want to read it, but I have it, so I'm probably going to read it. I have doomed myself, so I'm gonna keep this on my shelf. I gotta read it. I gotta just get it out of the way. Another Left Behind book going into storage. Oh my gosh, I hated the girl in this book. Yucky. Weirdo. Like, this was a thriller, and then it suddenly changed into an erotica, and I'm like, yo, I was not ready for this. You didn't warn me. So, this is an unhaul. Another Left Behind book in storage. Strange the Dreamer. It's a cover by, like, can't you tell? Haven't read it yet. I have the sequel, Muse of Nightmares, too. So, they both gotta be read, so I'm keeping them. I was about to say We Were Nightmares. This book was a nightmare. I didn't like it. We Were Liars. Proof again that I am a genius, because I guessed the plot twist. Blech. So this is an unhaul. Watching You by Lisa Jewell. I remember this thriller, but I don't at the same time. Like, I can't remember the characters, what our goal was. It was just like a really chill ride through the countryside. It wasn't horrible. It just didn't grab my attention at all, and I wasn't having any fun. But I also wasn't miserable enough to DNF. I was hoping for that good twist and make it all worth it, and it wasn't. I have a rule in thrillers. The person you see least, they did it. Yeah. I See You by Claire McIntosh. I don't know why I have all these like little flags. I need to take them out because I'm getting rid of this book. I read it, wasn't thrilled, DNF'd it. It had one little creepy thing involving like a website and how like serial killers could use it. that was interesting, but it also had a bunch of like family drama in it. And usually family drama and thrillers is my favorite thing because it just like heightens the stakes. But we barely got to know the family, so I didn't care about the drama at all. So I'm getting rid of it. We have The Toll, the third book of the Scythe trilogy. DNF'd it. I always thought the Scythe trilogy just wasn't good with like characters. So this book like added like 20 more characters, which you should not do if you can't write like 2. And also there's like the weirdest romance happening. And I'm like, no. No. So this is an Unhaul. And it's really sad that I'm getting rid of the first and the third Scythe book because I really did love the second one, Thunderhead. It's going to be somewhere up here. But until then, I have Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. Loved this book. It was so funny. Oh my gosh. Like, everyone in this book is an idiot, an lovable idiot. I love them. This was a really recent read. I read it in January this year. So I'm going to keep it, but it's just going to go in storage for now. One of the worst books I read in 2020, The Devil Walks in Mattingly. This is like opening an antique chest and having mothballs and dust just explode all over your face. That's what the writing of this book sounds like. It's stuffy and pretentious and just old smelling. So boring. The characters, boring. Oh my gosh. The only cool character was the ghost in this book who was trying to kill everyone because he was channeling me. I wanted to kill everyone. This is a DNF. Well, no, I wish it was a DNF because that means I wouldn't have read this thing. It's an Unhaul. Bring Me Back, that other B.A. Paris book I told you about. I liked it. I'm just not going to reread it again. I think you should read it. It's pretty cool. The twist kind of got me. Well, like, I was on the road towards the twist. I just took a wrong turn, but I was like that close to solving it. But I'm going to get rid of it just because I just don't want to reread it again. But I think you should go read it. Shadow and Bone, the first book that introduced us to the Darkling. I am keeping this. I am a Darkling fan. I have to have the Darkling forever next to my bedside. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I don't know why I didn't like this book more. I just didn't care for it. I wanted it to be like, I wanted the juicy Seven Husbands drama and it didn't give me that. Like, honestly, only like 2 of the husbands really matter in this tale. Also, one of the characters who was not Evelyn, but was also a girl. Celia. She annoyed me. So, yeah, just gonna unhaul it. I guess I'm keeping you too. I don't even know what book you are in the Divergent series, 2nd or 3rd. Artemis Fowl, Last Guardian, Storage, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I loved this book. Like, so many people don't, but I did. It's from President Snow's point of view. It's the villain. How could I not like that? You know what? I'm actually gonna like keep it on my shelf because it was honestly really funny to me and I'll probably reread it sometime soon. Another Artemis Fowl book going in storage. This is the 2nd book in the Prosper Redding series. It's just a duology, I think. I really liked the first book. It was really funny to me and it was really similar to a book that I'm writing, so it kind of felt like fan fiction for my book, but she published it first, so I guess I'm writing fan fiction of her book. But basically we both have like a boy who gets possessed by a demon and shenanigans happen. So it was a good book. The first book I loved. The second book I didn't really care for it. Like, I was just like, yeah, it happened. But that first book I really liked. But I'm gonna get rid of this one. Didn't have any wow moments like I did in the first book. Royal Assassin, my favorite book in the Farseer trilogy. I want to get rid of this version of this book and get like an ebook version or just like a bigger version. Because I love this book, but it's just a mass market paperback and I hate that. And I have the other 3rd book here. This one was so hard for me to finish. I like it, just a bunch of weird stuff was happening. This was a 5, this was like a 3.5. I still love this series. I just don't want to put you in storage. I just want to keep you forever. But I also know I'm not going to reread you anytime soon. But I need to. But I don't want to read you because you're mass markets. Okay, you're going into storage. My heart literally just bumped. Never mind, you're staying on my shelf. Ignite Me by Tahara Mafi. I don't know why I have all these stickers in here. I didn't like this book. Maybe that's why. Let's see. Random sticker. Okay. I think pink means good moment because that was actually kind of phony. I like the series, but I also don't. I like our main character Juliet and I love Warner. But everybody else in the series is so like shallow, but still somehow enjoyable. I am so confused about this series. I just know that this book, the last book in the original trilogy, because now it's a 6-book series, I did not like the ending of this. And if I was one of those original fans who only had those 3 books, I would have been mad. This is definitely going into storage. I don't think I could ever get rid of this series because I'm just so what about it? New shelf. This is what we currently got so far. Okay, this one's the keep pile. Say hi. That little pile over there is the get rid of pile. And this is the storage pile. Okay, we have this random contemporary I bought for some reason because it was on sale. I have not read it yet. I don't actually want to read it anymore because I realized I hate contemporaries, especially the lovey-dovey, cutesy-whoopsy, smoochy-boochy ones. But I haven't read it, so it's going in the keep pile. The keep pile is getting really high, and it's making me nervous because I'm supposed to be getting rid of books. Next up, we have The White Between Us, which is one of my favorite thrillers ever. I've already reread it twice. So I'm going to put it in storage. I also have Muse of Nightmares, that second book in the Strange the Dreamer duology. Haven't read the first one, so I'm keeping the second one. Pile just keeps getting bigger. Absolutely unremarkable. Wait, I'm sorry, Hank Green. An Absolutely Remarkable Thing, a novel by Hank Green. Just got this one. I'm a big John Green fan. Well, oh my gosh, am I? Because I love The Fault in My Stars. The Fault in Our Stars. Not just my fault, it's your fault too. I like this book. I like An Abundance of Catherine's, but I don't like any of his other books. And this is his bro. These are bros. Bro authors. Bro bookies. So I was like, I'll give the other brother a chance. So I need to. So I'm going to keep this book on my shelves, and this one is going to go to storage. Shatter Me, Warner, loved him in this book. Just going to put him in storage until I'm ready to just bring him back into my life so I can just fawn over him ooh, those abs. Warner. The first Prosper Redding book. This is the one I liked. Very funny. It's just gonna go in storage for now. And it's so cute looking, it's got a cute little white fox. He's cute, but he's the demon. Don't trust him. 4, the divergent short stories that I don't want to read, but haven't read, so they're staying with me. Renegades. I forgot what this book's about. I think it's definitely something with superheroes. But it's the same author of the Lunar Chronicles, so hype. I know I have the second book somewhere around here too. Wait, here it is. Arch Enemies. Ooh, these sound really cool, even though I wish I knew more about them. But this sounds like a bunch of cool crime fighting, and I'm for that jazz. So it's going in the keep pile. The keep pile is going to be taller than me. We got Gemina, that second Illuminae book. I think this one's actually no, it's not my favorite because Aiden is in this book very little. And I love Aiden, the crazy AI. I love him. So this is just going to go in storage for right now. Thunderhead, the only good book in the Scythe trilogy. I really love this book, but if I'm getting rid of the first and third book, then this guy needs to go too. The Rose and the Dagger, the second book of the Wrath of the Dawn series. It's more about that war that we don't get to talk about, but we still don't talk about it enough in this book. I honestly can't remember how the first book ended. I know how this one ended, because I was like, oh, now our secret villain guy, now you're choosing to do something. Well, too little, too late. I'm getting rid of this. Siege and Storm. Oh, okay, so I keep this little tissue in this book because this is a scene that I almost cried in. It's about the Darkling, so white fangirl. Keeping it. All the Light We Cannot See is historical fiction. I don't like historical fiction, but I haven't read this book yet, so I'm doomed to read historical fiction. I also have this Mockingjay book. People are very iffy about this book. I actually really love it, but I've read it at least 10 times. I am not exaggerating. When I was in middle school and high school, I didn't go out and get new books or read them from the library. I just kept rereading the ones I love. So I could probably quote this book to you. It's just gonna go in storage right now. A Curse So Dark and Lonely, a nice little retelling we have of Beauty and the Beast. Am I right in remembering that this book has our main character with a disability? I hope I am. But also a cool take on it. I'm excited to read this book. Also, I've just taken peeks of this book, and I see a lot of mentions of blood, so dope as coke. You Are Not Alone, the latest book by my previous favorite thriller authors, Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen, but then Riley Sager came in and was like, hey, I'm awesome. I'm your new favorite thriller author now. And who am I to argue with Riley Sager? I didn't like this book. I related to the main character a lot, but other than her, nah, this book didn't make me excited at all. And also, it's one of those books where our main character gets framed for something. And honestly, books like that gives me a lot of anxiety. So it was literally hurting me to read. So I'm gonna get rid of this. It's a fawn, kind of a fawn unhaul. First book of the Assassin's Apprentice. Love it. Hate that it's a mass market paperback. It's just gonna go in storage for now. Wait, no. I forgot I put the other ones in here, so I'm keeping it. Another Chaos Walking book. I don't want to read you, but I guess I am. Ooh, The Perfect Girlfriend. One of those thrillers that's told from the crazy person's point of view. I like it. I want to reread it. You staying with me, friend. Unravel Me, Shatter Me Again, Storage, The Perfect Wife. This is one of those books that's told in second person point of view, and I love that. That's like my favorite tense. Well, not tense. I don't know, just point of view, like style of writing. Especially in thrillers, because it makes me feel like I'm being like watched, like actively watched, and it's spooky and I love it. I really like this book. Like, I thought the villain plan at the end just didn't make sense, but it was honestly really fun to read about, so I'm going to keep it near me. And lastly, for the blue-purple shelf, we have 2 more Artemis Fowl books, so you know, storage. Looking at like how much raw footage I have right now, I'm going to do 1 more shelf and then probably film a part 2 for this. So next video, I may or may not have books on my shelf. We don't know. I don't even know my own filming schedule, but we got 1 more shelf to like sift through, sift through. I'm a writer, I promise. I know words. I just kind of realized that this is kind of like a version of that burn, rewrite, and something else challenge, because we have get rid of, storage, keep challenge. I've created a new challenge. You're welcome, world. Anyways, last shelf on this side of my room, because I have a whole other shelf over there, is my black shelf. Because this is my rainbow shelf, but this is a Giver collection. I really liked the first book, but then I tried reading the second book, and I was like, who the heck? Like, tone shift? Totally. Like, all the excitement I had for the first book just completely drained away when I started to read the second book. So this is going to be an unhaul, all 4 of these books. I really like that it has like all red pages. That's really cool. But now we have The Clockmaker's Daughter, a really recent purchase. And look at it. It's cute, but I like feel it's definitely magical realism and historical fiction all bound together, and I'm miserable just thinking about it, but it's also so cute. So I'm a keep. And we have here a book, or at least like 3 books together that I didn't expect I would love because it's Dungeons and Dragons related. But I love this. Oh my gosh, it was such a good read. The Legend of Dritz. So fine. Like, I love the mythology I got to learn about, the Drow elves. Just Dritz as a character, he was so pure, but battling some dark thoughts. In the second book, I was like, Kaladin, yo, I think I found a contender for the Life in the World and the Universe Just Hates Me award. Dritz. Loved it. It's just gonna go in storage for a little bit. The Escape Room. One of my favorite thrillers. Super nice. I loved like all the girls except one. You know who you are, girl. You're scummy. I hate you. Not you, audience. This girl. But it's like a good kind of hate. Like, I want to hate you, villain hate. So good job, villain. Super good. You know, we get to like delve into some misogyny in the business world. Some sneaky plans, some embezzlement, some scummy boyfriends. Just all the drama. I like. But it's gonna go in storage for just a eensy-weensy bit, please. This is a book I DNF'd a while ago, Once Upon a River, because it literally took forever for the story to move. This is primarily about a river, and you know rivers, they get kind of muddy. This book was us trudging through the muddy plot points of this book. It was so slow. But I also want to reread it, because for my fantasy project that I'm working on, my people like reside by a river, so I could get like atmospheric tips from this. So I am gonna keep it in hopes that I like reread it soon. Bird Box, really recent purchase, and it's like really short, so I'ma keep it. Also, I need to like figure out what's the big deal of all those Bird Box challenges, because I have not read this or seen the movie, so I don't know what's going on. The Outsiders. I was told this was like one of the first ever young adult books, and it was a really good one. Like, oh my gosh, all the boys loved them all. I probably cried in this book. I just don't remember because I probably was like so traumatized. I blocked it out from my memories. But dearly beloved, it's just gonna go in storage for a teeny bit. Divergent. Don't want to read you, but as established I have to. Queen of Nothing. 3rd book in The Cruel Prince. I gave the 1st book to my friend. So I guess this needs to be unhauled so I can give this to her too. Lost Boy by Christina Henry. One of my favorite books, very dark Peter Pan retelling. Loved it. Lots of death. I can say no more good things. That is the best thing. Some more V.E. Schwab. My homegirl, she stays with me. Obsidio, that Illuminae book I did not like. I don't think I could ever get rid of Illuminae. It was just fun to read. It's just gonna go in storage. Ooh, The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. I gave this book a 3, but now I'm just like looking back on it and I'm like, I really loved reading this book. It's just the ending was like kind of weird all over the place. Like, this book rambled a lot, like a lot of description, but it never felt like it was rambling until the ending. Then I was like, get to the point. I want to reread this. I'm keeping it. Because You Love to Hate Me. You guys know this one. It's that Booktube and author collaboration that happened. Bunch of short stories that these authors wrote based on prompts from the booktubers. There are some good ones, there are some bad ones. I think I only really loved like 3. So I'm going to keep it because I don't think I could like part with those 3 really good short stories, but it's gonna be slid into storage. The program, I DNF'd this book really quick because the characters were bland as a white wall made of tofu and cotton sponges. It's a cotton sponge a thing. I don't think it would be really effective, but I'm sure it could be made as a thing. Anyways, I'm DNFing. No, I already DNF'd it. I'm getting rid of this. Ooh, Love at First Sight was super cute. It's about this boy who's blind, but he gets a chance to like get an operation to get his sight back, and it's about him, you know, handling his first crush and also relearning the world now that he has this whole new sense to interpret information with. It's really interesting. I really liked it, so I'm going to keep it with me. John Green, An Abundance of Catherines. I know I put The Fault in Our Stars in my storage pile, but I even like this one better than The Fault in Our Stars, so it's going to stay with the Casey forever. We got some Brandon Sanderson, Skyward, Starsight, whatever it's called. Very enjoyable. I love Spenza. She was a hoot. She reminds me of me. Just crazy. And I know we got that 3rd book coming out, so that's exciting. I have already so many other Sanderson books I need to read, so I'm going to put these in storage for now. Hopefully I'll be able to get them out of storage before that 3rd book comes out, because I might need to refresh some plot points and stuff. Another Artemis Fowl book, storage. I had The Fork, the Witch, and the Worm, which is like a short story collection of 3 stories based in like the Aragon world. Looking back on it, they really didn't impress me. Like, oh wow, like these stories needed to be told. They were just like some filler. They're okay. I'm just not really attached to them. So it's going into storage. And lastly, we have one of my favorite books, An Enchantment of Ravens. Honestly, I like this book is why I hate like stores that put the stickers on the cover. See right there, it's permanently icky, and this is such a beautiful cover. Like, if I go to a bookstore and I see this book in a hardback version, I am going to buy it immediately. Love this. So fae, like the fairy tales, loved it. And they were so different from the original, like other ones, because usually the fae hate the humans and manipulate them and use them in other fae books. But this one, they kind of like coexisted. Like the humans, yeah, they were really like skeptical and scared of the fairies, but they still had a relationship going on because each one helped the other. So I'm gonna keep this one. Okay, let's see what we have so far. So as you can tell, this pile that I'm keeping is really tall. So we got this guy, this big guy. Yep, he's gonna stay with us forever. These are the books that are going in the storage. I'm proud of myself. I managed to get rid of some stuff. And over here we have the more permanent removals. Definitely more permanent. These are the ones I'm gonna either give to friends or donate. Or burn. Kafka on the Shore. You deserve hell. Fire, brimstones, and just me standing with the devil laughing over your demise. Yes. Whew. Anyways, y'all. Look at me. I have a little headrest made of books. My dreams are complete. Thank you guys for watching this Unhaul bookshelf tour, decluttering, whatever kind of a mess this was. I have like an hour of footage, so there's definitely going to be a part 2 because I have that whole other shelf over there that you see. We gotta go through that mess. So until next time, my friends, stay ready. Please. Reading makes you think, and I think I might love you. Love.